When I retired in the Air Force at 24 years, I was a colonel, and so I was used to being in difficult situations, briefing generals and arguments and all this kind of stuff that I'd have to prepare a lot for, that I'd be worried for. But I can tell you, standing in the back of the cathedral, waiting to process up to be ordained, that's the most nervous I have ever felt in my life. My process for discerning becoming a deacon, it actually started very early when my wife and I were at a marriage encounter retreat, and we're from the Diocese of Tucson. We got married and went into the Air Force for 24 years and couldn't be a deacon in that process because you weren't anywhere long enough to do that. And of course, we were raising our 3 girls as well. And so when we retired and moved back here to Sierra Vista, I was like, okay, now might be the time. What's God asking us to do? As far as going through the formation class, the part that's impacted me the most is those weekends when we're together, my brother deacons and the lay ecclesial ministers and our families, and we're just sharing. There's presentations, but then we get in our groups and we just share our journey, what we're learning and where we're going with this, and how the Lord's working in our lives. And just each of us has gotten close to at least a couple others in there that we've just been strengthened by, and we strengthen each other. Bishop Weisenberger said that in his homily at the ordination mass. He goes, you're not just, most of the sacraments you're just getting for yourself. You're baptized yourself, you get your first communion, first reconciliation, all those things. Those are kind of individual things. He said, when you're ordained a deacon, you are ordained into an order and a brotherhood. And so it's kind of funny, all through the 4 years of formation, I never really realized that. I know we had a brotherhood amongst us, but him saying that, and the most impactful point of the ordination mass for when talking with the others was when, after we were ordained, when all of our brother deacons that were there at the ordination mass came by and gave us a sign of peace, gave hugs, and said a word of encouragement or congratulations. And having all those deacons come by and do that, that was a time that I think almost all of us had at least a tear in our eye, if not more. When we went to Yuma, we're like, yes, we have to go to Yuma with our other brother deacons because we want to welcome him. That was a highlight of the ordination mass, was joining this order. So that was a surprise, and a wonderful surprise that I just loved. But I didn't realize how important this was to the community. Because when we got ordained, so many people came up and just were so ecstatic, and happy for us. We're ordained, and just realizing how much this isn't about me, it's about our community and each one of the vocations that we have, ordained or not ordained. Just seeing how this event in my life, this sacrament in my life, has really impacted the other people in our parish and how excited they are about this too. And in the process, that 1 year of discernment and then 4 years of formation, with the classes meeting 10 weekends each year. So over 4 years, that's 40 weekends that you are dedicating to this, plus all of your extra things that you're doing just as part of when you have your class. It inspires you to search deeper and to find other resources. And so lots of extra things that we do on our own as part of the formation process, which is beautiful. It's really what that process is for. It's not to necessarily say, okay, I have to block out all this for the next 5 years. It's like, I'm just going to take this first step. Okay. And don't worry about whatever is going to happen, because a lot of things will go on in your life over the 5 years. But it's like, let me just say yes to God for this first step, to pray about it, to think about it, and to attend in that first year. There's just a couple of discernment events that you go to, and just walk with the Lord through that. And then as you go, if this is what you're called to be, God will arrange things to make it work. And it's just, you don't have to worry about the whole thing and saying, I'm committing to this now and I'm committing to the whole thing all the way out. We've had people in our cohort that they went a year or 2 years, and then something in their life changed, their situation changed, and they said, okay, this isn't the time for me. And maybe that means they will come back to a later cohort, or in that. So it's just not to be overwhelmed by it, just to take that first step, say yes to God, and then see how the Lord makes a path for you. A thank you to everyone who's supporting the clergy and the church in whatever way. It is just amazing, the power of prayer that supports everybody, and we all need to do it for each other more. So thankfulness for all those prayers, keep it coming. But then also just for everybody to just not worry so much about all these plans out there. Just say yes to God in the moment now, and just take those little steps of saying yes, and don't worry about the rest. When you're following God's plan, God will make a way more than you could ever imagine that he could, and that the roadblocks just move away, and that it just works. And so just to say yes to God, like that, when any diaconate candidates are thinking, anyone that's discerning priesthood, it's not like, okay, I just committed to, it's like, no, you've committed to saying yes today, and just go with that and let God take care of the rest.